Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Tech Unlocked podcast, the podcast where we unlock the latest tech news, leaks, and rumors, in particular in the world of Apple. I am one of your hosts, Benji from BenObi Tech, and I'm joined as always by Mr. Smartwatch. And we also have Piipperi with us today, who's our special guest. How are you guys doing?
I'm doing fine, thanks.
I'm doing. That's all I can say about today, man. I'm doing. But it's great to be here as usual, man. Piipperi, welcome, and let's get to it.
Yeah, thank you.
Awesome. Well, for those who have been watching or listening to the show for a while, you know how the show rolls. So we're going to talk a little bit about some news articles from the past week, even though there's been barely anything interesting to talk about, but we have about 8 different things. So we're going to be covering iPhone 14. Finally, we've got more leaks on that. Nobody really cares at this point. We just want the phone. And then also more iPod Touch news. Basically, the iPod Touch dying even more than what it was before. And then also some more drama happening between Epic Games and the App Store. And we're also going to be talking about Google's Foldable phone and also something about Microsoft. So, and after that, of course, we've got some other questions, some other tech-related questions that we'll ask Piipperi. So then we can get some more of his insights in certain things in the world of tech. So I guess to start off with our first article, we've got iPhone 14 Max news, which is not good news. Apparently, the iPhone 14 Max is weeks behind schedule. So this is not good to hear. We're getting closer and closer to the release. What do you guys think? What do you think is going to happen with all of this?
Man, listen. It stinks that this is gonna happen, but honestly, as long as like they get everything sorted out, yeah, people are gonna be having to wait a while, especially, pre-orders are gonna be off the walls and whatnot. I don't know, man, but I see this as a good thing in a way. But what about you guys?
Do you have any thoughts, Piipperi?
Well, I suppose it's kind of strange that it's only the 14 Max, but it is what it is over there in China. I guess. So
Yeah. I mean, I guess the supply shortages didn't stop Apple with the Apple Watch Series 7 because that one still released and it was sold out for a while. Like I had to wait till December to get mine, but I think that's what might happen with the iPhone 14 and the 14 Max, even though those will probably be Apple's best-selling iPhones, which they normally are. The regular version is the best-selling one. So I don't know if this is going to like really hurt sales or if they're going to end up delaying the launch just like they did. I think it was with the 12 lineup. Correct me if I'm wrong, Taylor, where they delayed it by like a month or something. Yeah, because they did that with I think the iPhone 12 lineup where it was announced a month late from what it would usually be announced. So I don't know. They might just delay the whole iPhone lineup by a month just like they did, or they might just release it and it's going to sell out like earlier than they have in past years.
Right.
So I guess we'll wait and see on that. But Taylor, do you want to take us to the next topic unless anybody has any other comments?
Sure. So iPhone 14 Pro renders highlight multiple design changes. So I've seen these design changes. By the way, I don't know if you guys watch Front Page Tech or watched the latest episode of Front Page Tech. He showed us the purple version of what's going to be the new iPhone 14, 14 Pro. And honestly, like, I kind of like it. Correct me if I'm wrong, but like this looks like kind of a, I don't know, like a light purple. Is this the same color that they released last year for the 13s?
No, the 14 one was a lot darker. This is more kind of like it's very similar
Yeah,
to
this is like a
Sierra Blue.
lighter.
It's very similar to Sierra Blue, but
Yeah,
it's purple, which I guess
right,
is what
right.
Apple's trying to go with now, making the colors a little bit like brighter. I don't know. Well, at least with the pros. I mean, I think
Right.
it looks pretty good. I don't think if I do end up getting a 14 Pro, I'll probably get the graphite or the silver. I don't think I'll get the purple one, but apparently some other like changes.
Just
I think the it's like a slight increase in size. So I don't know if it's going to be taller
yeah,
or wider, one of the two. But I saw basically whoever has like iPhone 13 Pro cases, you won't be able to use
right.
them with the 14 Pro.
Yeah, there is it's more curvy. There is more curve.
Oh yeah, that's true. That as well. Yeah, I can
That's
definitely
true.
notice that. So I guess that kind of makes it a bit smaller or bigger. I don't know. Different
Are
size.
you
But yeah,
are you guys waiting for this? Are you guys gonna get one of the 14 models, or
Well, I'm going to.
are you? Yeah, I want to, um, but Benji, I want to give a little bit of an update here. I wanted to, and I've said this on a podcast before, but my dad last night actually was telling me that his phone, the battery's going. You know that he's using an iPhone 8
an 8.
used.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if I told you this, but for some reason, when you go into the camera, it looks all shaky and just really, really bad. And I've tested this. I reset the phone and everything. Still the same thing. I thought it was just like an iOS bug or something. But apparently not. Um, so he's just like, you need a new phone and I need your phone ASAP. So just a bit of an update. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to wait for the 14s. Just because, yeah, he doesn't need the latest and greatest. He doesn't really care, but he needs a new phone because that one is just not doing justice for him anymore. In the beginning, the phone was fine, but over time, him charging it and everything, it's just degraded so much over the past couple months, which is sad.
Yeah.
Which is sad, but the phone was already old as it was. I mean, I think it was already almost below 80% battery capacity, so that kind of stunk, you know.
My iPhone 11 is at 77% battery capacity. So
Oh no. Do you fast
I
charge
need
yours a
a
lot?
new phone. No, I use the 5-watt charging. I
Oh,
only
and
charge
it even
overnight.
degraded it that badly. Wow, that's bad. But
Yeah.
yeah, actually, I remember you telling me, Taylor, about that issue that the camera had, and I actually like a few days earlier, I was teaching a class with some like young people, and I was teaching them about
Yeah.
photography in my church, and they basically this guy who was like, "Oh, look at my camera, it does this," and it was doing basically that. It's like the I don't know, the camera was having like a seizure or something. It was very bad.
Exactly.
It kind
So
of sounds like there is something wrong with the OIS, like the magnets
yeah,
inside the
I think that's
OIS.
what was wrong with it because I think I even had like an iPhone 6 that had a similar issue, and I think it was the OIS. So I don't know if that's like a normal issue that happens on iPhone 8s because like I saw an iPhone 8 in person that had that problem, and your dad's
Yeah.
having the same problem. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't think it's something that we really need to worry about though, because the iPhone 8 is, I mean, it's old, so somebody who
Yeah,
has one
true.
is probably going to be upgrading
Um,
soon.
as far as like iOS updates, it's probably gonna have like another year or two, no?
Probably
Yeah,
longer.
for sure. Yeah, maybe 3 years even.
Yeah, because I think the 7's definitely gonna get updates this year and maybe next year as
Yep.
well. The
Mhm.
6S, I think they're probably gonna drop it this year, or they might keep it. Who knows? And yeah, so I think
Dude,
another like
I will
two,
be
3
very
years.
surprised if they keep it. I'm gonna tell you right now, I'll be very surprised.
I mean, it's not like they've never done it before. Like the 5S was
True.
supported for
True.
7 years or something, 8 years maybe. I don't know. It
Yeah,
was a very
yeah,
long
that is
time,
true.
and it still
Yeah,
worked
that
really
is
well
true.
on iOS 12.
So we'll see what happens. I mean, hey, you know what? I'm honestly like my phone's fine. But you know me, like I always freak out when I get new phones, so I'll have fun with
Yeah.
it either way.
Yeah,
um,
I'm honestly thinking I might get an iPhone 14 Pro this year and like still have my 13 mini because I've been doing a lot of like short form content on YouTube and like
yeah,
TikTok and
yeah,
stuff like that. And so having another phone that has a good camera, because right now I'm just using an iPhone 7 for some of the
right,
like the clips that I show my phone. I'm not using my camera as much, even though I'm using it right now, but it's just a lot easier to carry the phone around and the quality's pretty good. So I think I might upgrade to the 14 Pro just so I use that as my main device, and then I have the 13 mini that'll just use as basically a camera, really.
yeah.
Um, but yeah. Anyway, what are your thoughts on the design, Piipperi? Because I mean, people have heard our opinions on it, but what are your honest, brutally honest opinions on the
I
design
hate the
this
eye
year?
hole. I hate the eye hole. I hate it so much.
Peeper,
Uh,
do you follow me? Like my channel? Are you still subscribed? 'Cause
I
I
might
haven't
be.
seen content from you in a while.
Yeah,
But
I've been very busy
yeah,
doing stuff, but yeah,
I have a completely new channel, but I did a video on the old channel and I used that. Benji, I think I sent it to you. I'm not sure if you were on mission or had just come back, but I used the picture that they somebody had created on Twitter, and
Oh yeah,
it
yeah, that
was
was like a
basically
month or two ago.
iPhone. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, the I is
So
basically stands for iPhone.
yeah, that was the only thing for me. Um,
Yeah, I
I
mean,
honestly, I mean, you guys know my thoughts about it, but
I don't mind it because I mean, I got used to the notch pretty quickly. So I don't know if
right,
maybe it's gonna be the
right.
same thing for a lot of people because a lot of people at the beginning they're like, "Oh, the notch is disgusting," and then they started using a phone with a notch, and they're like, "Actually, this isn't too bad." So I think the same might happen for this, um,
Yeah,
but I don't know.
okay, but hear me out. Hear me out. This is bigger than the notch. This is like twice as big, so it's gonna take more UI space. The
Yeah,
notch is fine because it blends in with the UI. Like you don't notice it because there is your status bar and such. But I made some like quick. I made a quick mockup with an UI, something like Pokemon Go Open, which has been horribly optimized for the notch. So, and
right.
it was like blocking titles like the the eye hole was taking twice as much space. So it was blocking some words and such that were on the top of the like thing. So like it looks good in pictures, like when you just see a full screen picture or looking at a movie or something. It looks fine, but
yeah.
then actually using it, it's probably not going to be better than a notch.
Yeah, actually, I think I remember you posting that little mock-up thing. Actually, yeah, that is a good point because I think I've even seen some people say that that it's deeper in the display, like it's further down than what the notch currently is. So already
Yeah,
like with the 13 lineup, the notch got a little bit like thicker, and then yeah, the punch hole might be. I don't know. I guess we'll see how Apple and like developers tackle the whole UI thing. Because I mean, yeah, still to this day, like there's a lot of apps that I use on a regular basis that the notch still cuts content out. It's really weird. Like I was using my DJI gimbal the other day to shoot some stuff from a video, and like part of the controls were covered up by the the notch. It was so annoying. Um,
yeah.
so we'll see. Hopefully it doesn't. Hopefully it's not too bad. But yeah. Anyway, you guys have any other thoughts before we move on to our next topic here?
Nope, I don't.
All right, sweet. So next up, Apple is going to be keeping iPhone production target uh let me say that again. Apple keeps iPhone production target unchanged at 220 million units for 2022. So, even though like there's supply chain constraints and there's not as high of a demand for iPhones recently, like I think they're still making the same amount of units they've been making for a while. Um, so that's interesting. I don't know if they'll be able to sell them all, but we'll see. I mean, I'm definitely down to buying a new one, and I think a lot of people are coming up to upgrade soon. Like I know a lot of
I
people have
I
iPhone 11s and stuff.
I think if they make the 48 megapixel camera, if they put it in the Pro, I think a lot of people will upgrade like straight away. Like my biggest problem with my iPhone 11 is that it's 12 megapixels. Like you zoom in a little bit and it's just pixelated mess.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, I completely agree. Like I've been trying out the drone that I just got has a 48 megapixel camera. It's so good to just take a picture, like being able to zoom in and freely is so good. And it's crazy how iPhones still all the cameras are still at 12 megapixels. Um and I think that's going to be a huge selling factor, especially for people who love taking pictures of their phones. Um 48
Yeah.
megapixel is definitely a great feature. And also with that 48 megapixel, I think they said the 8K video will be coming as well to the iPhone.
Mhm.
So that MKBHD is definitely going to be happy about that.
Oh,
I don't know if
he's
I don't know if many people who buy the 128 gigabyte variant will be very happy, but we'll see.
yeah, true,
I th- I, th-
true.
I think the camera upgrades are going to be nice, definitely.
Oh
And
yeah,
that'll probably that I think there's even been rumors that the front facing camera is going to be a big upgrade. Like I think somebody said that it was going to cost like 3 times more what the current one does.
Yeah.
oh wow.
So that's exciting. Front facing camera for those who love taking selfies and selfie videos. That's going to be good. So it's going to be a larger sensor, and I think it's also going to have like autofocus and stuff because right now it just has fixed focus, just like many other smartphones on the market. Apart from I think Samsung's the only one of the only companies that does the front
Yeah,
facing camera where you can focus in on things. But yeah,
yeah. iPod Touch removed from Apple's website in some countries after being discontinued. I listen. Um, who would own an iPod Touch unless you want to keep it for thing? But I don't see anybody buying an iPod nowadays. Like, even for kids, people use uh, you know, not working iPhones. So
iPhones
like
will have a SIM card.
honestly,
Yeah,
yeah, without a SIM card. So like honestly, yeah, I think that this would be a good thing. I know that people who do like iPod, they're gonna be sad about this because iPod has been around for so long. A lot of people, myself included, I had an iPod Nano as my first Apple device. So it's kind of sad to see it go. But this just calls for new things and better things, I think. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
strangely enough, my first Apple device was an iPod Touch, and I don't feel sad about this. Like I think it's time to move on. Like
yeah,
I have the sixth gen iPod Touch,
right.
and the like it's horrible, and it has an A8 chip, so I can't imagine the A10 being any better on the seventh generation one. So
Yeah.
and from what I've heard, nobody pretty much uses an iPod like iPod Touch anymore because everything is like in the cloud or uh, people often listen to podcasts and it's podcasts aren't very easy to put on a device that doesn't have an cellular connection. So yeah,
Yeah.
I
Uh, I I just had a look at the website here in the UK, and they still sell the iPod Touch. So if I wanted to
Wow.
spend £400 on a 256 gigabyte model. I can, but no, I don't. I won't do that.
So anybody who wants an iPod Touch, just go to UK.
Yeah.
That's something funny. As soon as Apple was like, "Oh, we're discontinuing the iPod Touch," I saw so many people on Twitter be like, "Oh, just ordered an iPod Touch." It's like,
Dude.
why? I guess it's the last
Yeah.
iPod, but
iPhones.
still, it's
Still, you know.
yeah. I think this is actually one of the only, at least mobile devices, let's exclude computers, that Apple is selling that has a headphone
Yep.
jack. Because they don't sell any iPhones with a headphone jack.
True.
I don't think they sell any
True.
iPads with a headphone jack, unless I
Yeah,
think
but
maybe the 9th gen iPad has it. I don't think so.
yeah, I think the headphone jack argument, it's like people who actually like use proper big headphones, they are not going to use the 3.5 millimeter jack, or they might, but it might not sound as good as a proper DAC. And
Mhm.
yeah, some people say that the lightning to 3.5 millimeter adapter sounds even better than what's on the iPod. And the iPod is also very thin and small, so the DAC can't be that good.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, nobody really cares about that, but
Yeah.
but it's time for it to go. It's time for it to die. I don't think there's any need for an iPod anymore. We've got Apple Watch, we've got iPhone. If you really want to like listen to music,
Exactly.
just get AirPods. Like I see a lot of people go out like on runs just with their Apple Watch and their AirPods. That's basically their
Yeah.
iPod.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's sad to see it go. You can still buy it in the UK as of recording this, and I think even in the States you still can. So if you really want to have that
I think
piece
it
of art,
depends. I think in most of EU it's probably not available. Like in, I checked the Finnish store and it's not available anymore there. Like it's just gone. And the way that in Finland, because we don't have Apple stores here, everything comes from the Netherlands. So I bet that if like there are other countries that use the Netherlands to ship Apple products to that country, I bet that all of those countries won't have the iPod Touch anymore available.
yeah, I think I saw that as well. A lot of like EU countries aren't selling it anymore. So yeah, so it's slowly dying. They're probably just gonna sell them until stock lasts in different countries. So probably nobody's buying it here in the UK. So they're just gonna like still stick around for a little bit. But anyway,
Right.
rest in peace, iPod. You were great. Let's move on. So our next. So now, out with the old, in with the new. We're talking Apple Car now. So basically, the Apple Car team loses yet another key employee as turnover continues. So like, I don't exactly know what's going on with the Apple Car at this point. Like they keep hiring people, they keep firing people, people keep leaving, people keep joining. It's like it's kind of like this super secret project that nobody really knows anything about. That people are just going in and out, and nothing's happening. What are your
I hate
guys'
to
thoughts?
say it, man. I hate to say this, man, but like, I don't know. I feel like people are just gonna give up on this. I mean, it seems like there's something going on behind the scenes, and they just can't figure it out. Hopefully, they keep working on it and don't give up. Hopefully, it's not another dead power thing. But honestly, like, you guys got to do something about this because, like, we would love to see this happen. I mean, we've been waiting for something like this for years. My only question is, do you guys think that Samsung or Google is going to jump on board and start doing something like this?
I'd see Google doing it, but
No.
I don't see Samsung doing it.
Okay, I actually see Samsung doing it more than Google. Because if you think about it, Samsung has like a lot of home electronics as well. Like
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
and Google is more like a software company to me. Like I could see them making like software for the cars. Like
Yeah.
they already have Android Auto, so what if they make a better version of it, which they actually have already done? I think the new Volvo C40 or whatever it's called has the new Google system in it, which like controls the whole car basically. So
That makes
yeah,
sense.
Yeah.
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 Actually,
True.
now that you mentioned that, I think that definitely makes sense. Because I mean, Google. Because I was thinking the reason why I think Google might have done it is because they've already got like a lot of cars out and about doing like Google Maps stuff. So maybe they're even kind of like
Right.
registering stuff for self-driving. But I mean, if they built the software that and they open source it just like Android, then like car companies like I don't know, Mercedes can come in or Audi can come in and be like,
Yeah.
we'll do a partnership with you. You have what specifications do you need for us to be able to add like your software to our cars so we can have self-driving and all of these things. So I think that will honestly be like a really interesting thing to see. Google just doing software. And then I
Yeah.
mean
Yeah.
go backtracking a little bit to Apple Car. Like from the rumors that we've been hearing, apparently this car is going to be like fully self-driving, like 100%.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's not even gonna like some people have been saying
And
it's not even gonna have a steering wheel.
that's a thing.
And
And that's the thing. In most countries, I think, that I know, the law hasn't even passed for self-driving vehicles. At least in the U.S., a lot of places still don't have it. So, like, you're gonna be releasing a car that can self-drive, but nobody's gonna be able to use it because the law hasn't passed.
yeah,
So,
that's why that might be
I
why
think
they've been delaying it for this long.
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, I from what I heard somewhere that they would be like at first at least targeting more like robo taxis, which is why
Yeah,
they don't
that
have
makes
the
sense.
steering wheel.
Uh-huh.
yeah,
I bet that most people would like to have a steering wheel on their car. Like what if you go somewhere where there is no networking or anything? What the heck are you going to do?
That's true.
exactly.
Yeah, because I mean, I'm also thinking like take Tesla for example. Why is their self-driving? I mean, even though it's not amazing, it's still a beta. But how is their self-driving as good as it is? Well, that's because Teslas have been around for over a decade, and people own Teslas. They drive Teslas, and Teslas record almost everything that the driver does and things like that, and then sends it back to Tesla, and they can then use that data to improve the self-driving capabilities. But Apple doesn't have that. Apple has just like a couple of cars around the world that are just driving around, like doing things, and like um they're not really doing the same thing that Tesla is with like actually getting real life use. I don't know if that makes sense, but I
Right.
think they have a bigger advantage. Even like when we compare other self-driving cars, I think Tesla really has an advantage because they've got hundreds of thousands of Teslas out in the wild, or maybe millions. I don't know how many they've delivered, but they've got so many that are just always registering these things, and so they can constantly improve the autopilot. But
Mhm.
here comes Apple just with their first generation product car, and they've had not as much experience than Tesla has with self-driving. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how it plays out, see what will even happen. Because I mean, we've been hearing about Apple Car for years and years, and even self-driving cars in general. Like there's a lot of like Elon Musk has said multiple times that full self-driving is coming to everyone next year. Next year comes and it's not happening. And
Yeah.
also there's of course laws and regulations like here in the UK. It's like even the self-driving beta here in the UK isn't, you can't use it because it's illegal to use a self-driving car. They're starting to allow it
Yeah.
now, but still I think it's going to be at least a few years until like different countries start allowing a slow rollout, probably starting with robo taxis, but a slow rollout of self-driving cars. I think probably it'll
Yeah.
take at least 5 years, I think, for that to happen, because I mean
Oh, for
governments
sure.
are a bit slow to adopt certain things. But
Yeah, for
yeah,
sure.
those are my thoughts.
Before we move on to the next thing, I wanted to ask you, Piipperi, uh, Apple CarPlay, or Android Auto, which
I have not used it, but I would of course use CarPlay because Apple Music and such.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I completely agree. I don't know if I used Android Auto, but I
The
mean,
funny thing is
if you have
that
an iPhone, you're stuck with CarPlay.
True.
I think Android Auto gets installed on like every phone. This is such a weird Google thing. Like Android Auto and a Google Assistant get installed on like every Android device ever you buy, but
Yep.
they just don't work in Finland. Like unless you set your phone language to English.
Oh,
That's
wow.
for
That's
Google
interesting.
Assistant. If you, I think for Android Auto to work, you have to put your phone like set it to UK, like the regional setting, like whole regional setting to UK or something where Android Auto is allowed. I don't.
Mhm.
I think it's so it has something to do with the Google Assistant. Also Google Assistant is horrible. Changed my mind.
Gotcha.
Dang, that's
Yeah.
weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I remember when I had
That's
my S10. I don't think Android Auto was pre-installed. I know Google Assistant I think was. I mean we're talking about Samsung here, so probably stock Android or like near stock Android phones. Probably I think those have those two pre-installed.
No,
I think that.
I think they have them installed, but it's not like an app that you see on your home screen. It's more like a
Oh right,
service.
okay. Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, because I remember you could also download the app. I don't exactly know. Maybe the app. I don't know. I haven't used an Android phone in a little while. So anyway,
yeah. Yeah.
moving on. Taylor, do you wanna move on to the next topic we have on the list?
Sure. So Epic Games CEO Tim Sweeney calls Apple's App Store a disservice to developers. What are you guys' thoughts?
Honestly, when I first saw this, it's like, how is the App Store a disservice to developers? Now, yes, I understand they take a big cut of what developers make, but at the
Mhm.
same time, the App Store is one of the biggest app catalogs in the world, and you're
Right.
getting basically free access to this. I don't know if I might be wrong, but you get almost free access to this platform where you can just put all of your apps on, and like if you charge people money, you just have to give a cut to Apple. But then you
Right.
will. I'm trying to think how to word this, but if you're on the biggest marketplace in the world for apps or one of the biggest marketplaces, that means you have a broader audience. You have more people who can get your app, which means more people will buy buy things in your app, which means you make more money. Yes, you have to give part of it to Apple, but still, you're getting more than what if you would than what you would on like a smaller app store, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I don't exactly see how it's anti-competitive. But I don't
It's
know what your guys'
in my
thoughts.
opinion, it's only anti-competitive because you can't sideload side anything on like
Yeah,
so hard. It's annoying to be honest. Like I don't have a developer account, and I'm not planning on buying one, but it's just a hassle to sideload anything on an iPhone without a
yeah,
developer account.
Yeah.
yeah. I remember how it was quite easy to do back in the day, but now, yeah, it's a lot harder. I guess, yeah,
Yeah.
that makes sense. That's why they're saying it's anti-competitive. But still, I mean, who's making this product? Apple. So they have full control over their software,
True.
and they can do whatever they want with it. They can have a
Yeah.
whole
Yeah.
monopoly on their own phone. Like they created the product. They've created
Mhm.
the app store themselves. So, and I mean it says here on the article that we're using from Mac Rumors that the iOS app economy has also created over 2.2 million jobs in the US alone, which is
Wow.
crazy. So
Wow.
I mean, yes, it may be anti-competitive as in like there are no other app stores that you can download on the iPhone and things like that, but still if they did, I like iPhone wouldn't be the same because they're opening their phone up to other like other app stores that probably don't have as tight of a as tight security as like the App Store does. Like the App Store, it's quite hard to get your app onto the App Store if you're creating a certain app. So I think with Apple, you're paying for privacy and things like that as well, which you wouldn't get on some other app stores.
But then again, like you have the Mac, you have the Mac OS, you can install anything you want on it, and it doesn't have any problems, even though it doesn't have the same kind of sandboxing as iOS does, or it's not as secure yet. It doesn't have that many like viruses or ways to infect their OS. Like I think it's kind of strange that Apple has never allowed like it's almost as they knew that there is some kind of APIs that the developers could use to take full control of the iPhone or something. But who knows? Only Apple knows, really.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, who knows? I mean, I think I saw an article the other day that the EU is trying to push Apple to basically like allow other app stores and stuff.
No, they're trying to allow side loading on an iPhone.
Side loading, yeah. That. Which I mean, didn't it used to be allowed? Yeah, because I remember side loading apps before.
The funny thing is, don't tell this to Apple, but you can download an app on an Apple App Store and sideload things from it. It's
that's true. That's true.
It's called Intune company portal from Microsoft, which is what the companies use to sideload stuff on their devices. Which is kind of strange that Apple allows something like that for company use, but then doesn't have anything for consumers, really.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
it's weird. But anyway, I think this whole like Epic Games versus Apple thing is just
this is crazy. Old.
Yeah, exactly. It's getting old.
Like Epic Games has lost so much money just because they're like, no, we want to earn every penny from our app, which I guess makes sense, but still, you've lost a lot of customers at the same time because there's a lot. I mean, even though nobody likes Fortnite anymore, but or any of the other apps they make. But anyway, moving on. So we've got Google news now. So the Pixel Fold has been delayed yet again, and Apple's foldable phone is probably going to come out like 2025. So we've heard a lot about this Pixel Fold that doesn't exist. Like I think it was supposed to be canceled, and then they're like, no, it's not canceled anymore. No, yeah, it's canceled now. No, it's not canceled anymore. What do you guys think? Do you think the Pixel Fold is gonna happen? And like, if so, when do you guys think?
I think it's just that they're trying to like as this title says, Apple is going to now aim for 2025. So I think that what Google is doing is that they're trying to just play it safe and wait for the OLED panels to get better, and so they won't break so easily. So they'll probably release it in like 2024, just maybe like 1 year earlier than Apple would.
Yeah, because I think the problem is right now, like there are a lot of companies that are making foldable phones, and there's more and more, but I don't know if it's going to pick up until Apple. When Apple comes out with it, everybody and their dog's going to be making a foldable phone, because whenever Apple does something, that is kind of the standard for everyone. I mean, we've seen that so many times with like the iPad, with the iPhone, the Apple Watch. There's a lot more companies that are making those sort of products now, since Apple has kind of set the stage for it. So, I mean, I'm interested to see how what Google's approach is to foldables, and Apple's of course as well. But I really like I'm not really a big fan of the Samsung foldables, but I think Oppo is doing a pretty good job with their Find N. I think that is I think the best foldable.
In my opinion, that's like the best example like of a foldable, because like if you think about it, Samsung foldables are just squares when folded, so you can't watch any content on it, that efficiently. It just doesn't fill up the whole screen. But the Oppo Find N, it's like, it's more like, I think, 4:3, or
I think yeah, I think
some
that
aspect ratio that
yeah,
fills the content more better.
exactly, yeah. Because I also really like the outer display for the Find N, which is it's essentially like the size of an iPhone mini, I think. And then when you
Mhm.
fold it out, and so it's completely usable, and then you fold it out and you've got a bit of a bigger screen. I think that this is the best example of a foldable, and I hope
Oh yeah,
Google and
yeah.
Apple kind of follow that kind of way of doing foldables instead of
I
Samsung's. Because like for example the Fold 3, the outer display is barely usable. Like I tried one in a store, even though I've not used one for extensive periods of time, but I've heard from people that
Mhm.
every time they use their Fold, they want to open it up because like you can barely do anything on the outer display because of the weird aspect ratio. And then we take, for example, the Flip as well. That is a completely different type of foldable, but still, like, I don't think that personally, I don't think that kind of foldable makes any sense. But anyway, um, I think, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. I hope Google does take like kind of Oppo's approach to foldables instead
Yeah.
of like Samsung or even Microsoft. If you want to consider whatever theirs is a foldable. Um, but yeah, what are your
yeah.
guys' thoughts?
I don't know. I just hope that Apple makes like an iPad Mini that can
That's
fold.
foldable.
That
Yeah,
would be the
Yeah.
best.
Yeah.
I
That
think
that
so
is
as well.
true.
Yeah, but seeming as we're on the topic of foldables, what are your like thoughts and opinions on foldables, people? Do you think they're like the future, or do you think they're kind of a bit of a gimmick, or
There
maybe even a
has
stepping
as
stone for the future?
I'm gonna just, I don't know. John Prosser has said this multiple times, so I'm gonna repeat that as well. I think foldables are uh, s- just a gimmick because people are bored. They are bored of sandwich phones, so they want something that folds, something exciting, something new. So I suppose we're gonna be using foldables until Apple releases their iPhone 6 concept with holographic cameras and such displays, and yeah, who knows?
Yeah,
True.
I'm interested to see the next couple of years if foldables really will like take off. If Apple does actually jump on the bandwagon themselves, because I mean, I think Apple's mainly putting a lot of their focus, time, and money into AR, and we'll talk a little bit about that later as well, which I think is much more of a future
Mm-hmm.
than foldables. Because yeah, foldables are a bit of a gimmick. It's like everybody's bored of the same old design, as you said, and it's like it's something fresh, it's something new ish. It's basically like two phones that just fold together. Um, but I don't think they're the future either. Like
Yeah.
they might
No.
be though. I could be wrong, but I don't think so.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm. You know what? I've said this. I'm like you mentioned. I'm back and forth. But I said this in the beginning when they came out. Uh, there's gonna be so many problems that people are just gonna give up and buy a regular device. My friend actually, he got it because he thought it was cool and all, and he wanted to try it out for himself. And he was saying that now there's like little cracks on the edges, and he's ready to like he's actually a big Samsung knight. He's always had Samsung. Um, and Benji, I think you know who I'm talking about. My friend Patrick, who got I was thinking about moving to iPhone and never did. He's actually thinking
I think I
about
remember.
he's actually doing it again. He was just like, you know what? A lot of people at my work are saying that iPhone's good. I want to try it out. You have said it many years. So I actually want to try it out. If I like it, cool. If I don't, whatever. And that's the thing. Like, he was always one of those people that I don't want to talk bad about him, like, but he was always one of those people that always said that things suck, but never was the one to try it out. And I kept telling him, you don't know until you try it out. So he actually did it, and I'm proud of him for it. It's coming on Wednesday, so I don't know. We'll see what he says about it. But yeah, I honestly, like, for me, foldables are just not my thing at all.
Yeah.
So
So I guess we can move on to the last news article, and then we've got some questions we can get into.
Yep.
So Microsoft apparently is developing a low-cost Xbox streaming dongle that could rival the Apple TV. This sounds interesting to me. Like, I have an Xbox Series S that my family just recently got, and we've been playing quite a lot of games. I even tried playing a cloud game, and it worked completely fine. So basically, yeah, what they're trying to do is make a low-cost Xbox that is mainly for cloud gaming, which I think is similar to Google Stadia. I think things like that. So I think this is gonna be interesting, and apparently it could rival the Apple TV in terms of maybe even
Yep.
streaming. So, what are your guys' thoughts? Do you think Microsoft should go ahead with this, and do you think it'll be a hit? I guess.
I think that now, like, Nvidia had tried this a long time ago with their Nvidia Shield, which was like, I think it was like focused on, like, you could run like Steam Remote Play on it and such, but that failed because there was like cloud gaming wasn't really a thing, and like the video encoders on GPUs weren't that good yet, like usable for low latency gaming. But I think now, if Microsoft would make a dongle like this that would be solid for cloud gaming, then I think it might be very good. Like, I think it might sell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are your
yeah.
thoughts, Taylor?
I mean, I'm not really Xbox person. I'm more PlayStation. But honestly, I mean, whatever works. If this works, then cool. But yeah, I really can't say much because I don't know much about Xbox and whatnot. So
Well, what if PlayStation were to do something like this? Would you be hyped for it?
I don't know.
The
Honestly,
thing,
I mean, we already
the thing,
have apps like Apple TV and Netflix, so you know.
the thing about PlayStation though is that they don't have the same kind of cloud gaming like architecture. They don't have.
Yeah.
They have like only one thing that like sucks. So
Yeah.
yeah, I think if Microsoft were to make something like this, I think they would have like Stadia and
Yeah.
Nvidia now and a bunch of other like ways to stream games. I think it would be pretty decent.
Yeah, I think this will be a great option if they do make like a smaller type of Xbox for cloud gaming. I think it'll be great for people who like to travel. Like, you're in a hotel room, you
Yeah.
just
I
plug the
mean,
thing in, and you're playing
that's-
Xbox games on like a using of course the online cloud gaming. And I mean, cloud gaming nowadays, like, I remember using a cloud computer a couple years ago, and that worked really well. And I think now cloud gaming in general is becoming more of a popular thing as like people's internet connections are improving, and things like that.
And the Fortnite is now on the web, so you can play it on the iPhone.
Yeah, that too. So
Yes.
so it's exciting for like people now. You won't have to buy a huge PC gaming rig to play your triple A games or whatever. You'll be able to just play them on a small device using cloud gaming, which I think is pretty cool.
Yeah. This is like exactly pretty handy, like as well if you already pay for a fast network, so you don't have to pay for a whole computer, so you can just use your fast network and a stick. So yeah, should be pretty cool.
Yeah, I think it'll be good. So I guess those are all the news articles we had for today. Now we have a couple questions for you, Piipperi. So you're on the spot. No pressure.
Okay.
But one of the things we wanted to ask you is what do you think is next for Apple? What do you think is going to be their next iPhone kind of product?
AR glasses.
Yeah,
AR glasses, definitely. Yeah.
And what do you think? What is your vision for AR glasses? Like, how do you think they're going to be? How are they going to look? What do you think they're going to cost? I don't know.
I think they'll be expensive, of course. Probably. Apple would have to make them accessible, so I don't think it would be a lot more than $1,000. I don't think people would want to spend that much money on. Perhaps the first generation products might be like $2,000 or $3,000, but I think the price will come down. And like as somebody who likes AR, like I bought an iPad Pro for AR development and such, even though Apple doesn't allow side loading, which is so annoying. but I think AR is the future. Like you can already like use maps to navigate with AR, and of course Pokemon Go has been a huge thing since 2016, and everybody is still playing that and not even realizing that it is in fact AR. Like, yeah, it's cool. I think it's the future, definitely.
Yeah, I think so though. I completely agree. Yeah, I didn't realize. Yeah, Pokemon Go technically does use AR, so that's pretty cool. It's been a couple years.
It is an augmented reality game. Like the category, like yeah, it is, and it also now has reality blending, which is like a Niantic shitty implementation of objects blocking the AR characters, which doesn't work quite well, but they don't use ARKit, so yeah.
But yeah, honestly, I'm all for the future of AR. I think that's definitely going to be huge. Like, I can't wait for the day where I'll just have maybe not even my computer. My computer will be in the glasses, and I'll just be able to do video editing or whatever. Just not have to buy a keyboard, a mouse, or anything. Just have multiple monitors in front of me. I think that would be really, really cool.
I mean, you would probably want to buy a keyboard, but
yeah, probably.
Yeah.
But anyway, Taylor, do you wanna move on to the next question?
Sure. What are your thoughts? What are your expectations on WWDC this year?
Well, iOS 16 is going to be a buggy mess. Yeah. iOS 15 was like my stopping point for the betas on my main phone. I just can't take it.
iOS 13 for me.
Like this whole, like I'm running a stable build of iOS 15.5. And this feels like a beta build. It's so unstable on my iPhone 11, and even on my iPad Pro, the Files app is horrible. It feels like it was just made like yesterday. Somebody coded it in their basement, and yeah, it's just Apple's software is such a mess. I really hope that iOS 16 would be like a big change in like the icons. So they will just change the look, kind of, but not really how the OS behaves, so they don't have so many bugs to squish.
Yeah. I really hope that happens.
As for hardware, I think WWDC will see M2, M2 MacBook Air probably.
Mhm.
And perhaps the Mac Pro. I hope we'll see the Mac Pro. Yeah,
Yeah.
with the
Yeah, that's true.
M2 chip. I'm gonna be
Yeah.
curious. Will they make a new like M1 variant? Probably not. But will they
Mhm.
like? Because I don't know. Did you hear about that? That the M1 Max has like GPU bottlenecks, that it can't utilize the full graphics cores because there is some bottleneck in the chipset itself, like in the hardware. So it's
Mm.
so it's I think they have to like put an M2 Max or something in the in the new Max,
Right.
the
Yeah.
Mac Pro. Yeah.
I'm really excited to see if they will announce the Mac Pro and what processor it's going to use. But there also have been rumors that they're going to just like have a whole new series for the Pro, for like the Mac Pro. Like they come out with
Yeah.
a Z1 or something crazy, some crazy name.
1.5.
Huh?
M1 1.5
M1
Nexus.
1.5. Yeah. That'll be fun. Um but yeah, also going back to the software, I completely agree with you. I think Apple really needs to like squish all those bugs. Like personally, I don't really care if they add a lot of features this year. I just care that they just fix the software across the board, because I think the software that I've been having the most problems with has been Mac OS, which
Yes.
is what I use on a regular basis for work. And like sometimes it just
Yes.
does some stuff. Like Final Cut Pro the other day completely froze, and I couldn't use it for like 3 days because every time I opened it, it would like the whole computer would just freeze and not work. So Apple seriously has some software fixes to do, and I think
I
I've even heard Android has had some problems with like bugs as well. I think these past
yeah.
few
Well,
years
it's
for software has
under.
been pretty bad.
Well, it's Android, and like I'm guessing the base Android is probably fine. I mean, you must remember that every OEM, even Google themselves, have to customize the Android experience a bit. So that's why the
That's
Pixel is
true.
so shorty. And yeah, I think like ever since COVID-19 started, the software has been like not the best because everybody's working from home and they don't have the tools to troubleshoot the bugs like as well as in the office. So it's not as easy for the developers
Yeah.
to squeeze the bugs. And yeah, and as for macOS, this is starting to feel more like a Linux distro on how buggy and unpolished this is. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I keep
No, it
having the
definitely
weirdest
is.
bugs on mine as well. It's like sometimes the status bar just decides like half of the status bar is going to be minimized, and then the rest, or like the menu bar, and then the rest is like normal size. It's so weird.
Yeah,
But
and
Mhm.
I used to have like right before macOS Monterey came out, I think there was some application I had running on all of my Macs that on Big Sur 11.6, Finner just would crash constantly, like for no reason at all, on all of my Macs that were running Big Sur 11.6. And I literally upgraded to Monterey public beta, and the issue was gone. And I haven't seen the bug
Yeah.
since then, but Monterey is still quite buggy. Although it is a bit better than Big Sur, I would say.
Yeah. So, where do you see tech in the next 10 years?
That's a very broad question. I see tech in the same place as now. I mean, I mean, what has changed in the past 10 years? Really,
I guess to be a bit more specific, like, do you think we're gonna be having, I don't know, flying cars, or are we still gonna be
Yeah.
using
no.
smartphones? Or are we still gonna be using smartwatches? Well, what are your thoughts on
I
kind of that
I
aspect of
think
things?
like as I was referring to earlier, like Apple Watch was released in 2015, and it's still that square design with basically just minor improvements year to year. So honestly, like the biggest thing that I see happening is those AR glasses. So that will change a lot how everyone probably looks when they go outside. But but other than that, I think we'll be still using some 4K displays or 5K displays, and we have computers at our desk, and yeah, I just generally don't see anything in 10 years really like major differences.
Yeah, I think I definitely get what you're saying there with, because I mean, if you look back 10 years, people were still using smartphones, and yeah, it hasn't changed too
Yeah.
much. But I think it's gonna be interesting to see how AR kind of changed things.
Oh yeah.
Are people gonna still be using smartphones, or are we all gonna have everything in our glasses? Who knows? But I guess those are all the questions that we had. Unless Taylor, do you have anything else you would like to ask before we wrap up here?
Nope. Nope.
Awesome. So, yes, Piipperi, do you have any questions for us or anything you would like to share before we wrap up today's episode?
Well, no, not really. The only question I would really have is how good is YouTube money coming in?
Well, considering me and Taylor aren't monetized, so the only money I get every now and then is sponsorship money, but that's like when I actually make videos.
That's Sam. You gotta pop those. You gotta pump those numbers up.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, for sure, man.
Do you already have those Bitcoin giveaway things in your comment section?
No, actually, with my comment section, I haven't even gotten any like of those weird spam comments. At least I don't know. Maybe if I go into spam, it'll show up. But
YouTube usually doesn't like care if you get spam nowadays.
Yeah, I haven't gotten any. Actually, I just uploaded a video yesterday, and I haven't gotten any spam comments on the new channel. So I'm pretty lucky. Hopefully, it stays that way.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to go big, you gotta accept those free giveaway guys.
Yeah,
in your comment section.
Free giveaway.
Did you see like John Prosser, like from Page Tech? They like censored every possible word in the comment section, and now they just get like the scam comments will say "hey." So they don't get filtered. So they don't get filtered. They just say "hey," and then their username will have like From Space Tech official Telegram contact me there. Yeah, it's hilarious.
Yeah, it's crazy to see. I hope so too. It's horrible on TikTok though, because like I've started posting a lot on TikTok of like tech videos and stuff. And like I keep getting like, oh, this person unlocked my Apple Watch, amazing. Oh, this person iCloud unlocked my iPhone, and it's like, what? So random.
Jeez.
But
weird.
I started deleting them, but then at this point I'm like, you know what? Who cares? They're just there. People will see it's a scam. That is everything we had for today's episode. Thank you so much, Piipperi, for joining us. It's been great to have you. Great conversation.
Yeah. Thank you for having me.
No worries. And guys, for those who have been watching or listening, thank you for watching or listening up until this point. If you want to go and check out anything that we mentioned in today's episode, the links will be in the show notes or the description below, depending on where you are watching or listening to this on. And also, if you want to follow me, Taylor, or Piipperi, all of our links will be in the description below. And that's about it. Thanks for tuning in. This was episode 33 of the Tech Unlocked podcast, and we will catch you guys next week.